Let's give this one a shot. So this next one here says, what is the ratio of peppers to tomatoes? All right, sounds good, everybody. So we want, again, everybody, the ratio between peppers and tomatoes. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the information. In a salad recipe, peppers to onions comes in a ratio of 5 to 6. And the ratio of onions to tomatoes is 9 to 4. Okay, so let's write down these ratios here. I'll write down the ratios of peppers to onions right over here. And that's going to be 5 to 6. And then down over here, I'll write the ratio of onions to tomatoes. And that was going to be 9 to 4. All right. So when we take a look at these ratios, everybody, is it safe to say that, at the surface, you notice that peppers and tomatoes, they're not directly connected, but you also noticed that peppers is connected to onions and tomatoes are also connected to onions. Who here is on the same page so far, where you noticed that, yeah, I'm trying to connect peppers to tomatoes, and I also see that onions is the middleman right there. Okay, great. Now, who went the step further and said, okay, because we have this middleman onions right here, because we have that middleman, I can go ahead and make the connection between peppers and tomatoes right there and just say 5 to 4 and we're done. Who here felt like that was the right way to go and you felt that, okay, once you got that, you got your correct answer here and it's C? The vast majority of us. Okay, so here's why, how do I put this? You're wrong. Let me go ahead and help you out in this moment though. We're all wrong, but let's understand why. So when we take a look at these ratios and this middleman that we have, everybody, when we take a look, are the numbers that represent onions up top and on the bottom here, is that the same? Are these numbers the same? Are these numbers the same? They are not. They are not. My party people, let me be very clear. If these numbers were the same, then absolutely I can take these ratios and just put them next to each other. And then we have a 1, 2, 3. And then we could go ahead and connect the 5 to the 4. But notice how these are not the same number. They don't fit. They don't overlap. My party people, do we see that before I show you the right way to do this? Do you see what I'm talking about before I continue? These are not the same number, so we can't make the jump from peppers to tomatoes. We can't. We just can't because it's not the same middleman. Now, let me go ahead and show you how we can get the same middleman. Everybody, let's pretend that we have a fraction that has a denominator of 6 and a fraction that has a denominator of 9. When I am working with fractions or working with ratios, again, they're the same thing. Ratios, fractions, comparisons, same idea here. If I treated it like fractions and I wanted to make these the same denominator, what would that denominator be between 6 and 9? What is the next number that both 6 and 9 can divide into? I'm not asking what can be divided out. I'm asking what they can multiply up to. What is the first number that 6 and 9 can multiply up to? That's going to be 18. Correct, Jacob. So with that, check this out. This is the one extra step that you have to do to get this problem right. Watch. One extra step. I am going to multiply the 6 by 3 so I can get 18. And then I'm going to multiply the 9 by what, everybody? I'm going to multiply the 9 by what? By 2. So let me show that right over here. I'm going to multiply that by 2, and then I'll get my 18. So here's the one little way that it's going to work to get us the right answer over here. Remind me again, everybody, what did I say I was multiplying the 6 by again? What did I say I was multiplying the 6 by? By 3, that's right. And then remind me, everybody, when it comes to fractions, whatever I do to the top, I gotta do to the bottom. That's true, right? Yeah, that's absolutely true. So let me go ahead and show you right over here. Multiply both of these by 3, top and bottom. What am I gonna get now? Help me out, everybody. What is 5 times 3? What is that gonna give us? 15, absolutely. Everybody, what's 6 times 3? That's the 18 that we expected. The 18 that we already expected. We're good. Now let me look over at the 9. Help me out again, everybody. What did we say we're multiplying that 9 by? What did we say we're multiplying that 9 by? Yeah, we said we would multiply it by 2. So just be consistent. Just be consistent. Times 2 right over here. And then again, whatever you multiply the bottom or top by, you multiply the other by. Now when I do that, here's what I have. 9 times 2 is going to give me the 18 I was looking for. Everyone, what is 4 times 2? 4 times 2 is going to be 8. Now guess what I can do now? Check things out. I'm going to just copy this right down here, and I'm going to copy this right up here. If I want to compare, again, everybody, the correct peppers to tomatoes, now that we have the same middleman, we can go direct and compare the 15 to the 18, or to the 8, excuse me, and we're all done. There's the true comparison, 15 to 8. We just needed to ensure that the middleman was the same number. So 15 to 8 is the correct answer, and that's why the correct answer is answer choice D. And there we go. And let's move it over here to the next one. So this next problem, the question statement says, what is the tax amount? So it's not asking us for the final price with the tax. It's just asking us for that taxed amount. So with that, let's make sure that we remind ourselves that if we're trying to find the amount of the tax, we are going to be applying the amount or the percent of the tax. So our tax percent multiplied by our original amount is going to equal the amount of the tax. That is how that main idea works. Again, everybody, the percent you apply is the result that you get. The percent and the result represent the same idea. One is just in the form of a percent. The other is an actual amount. With that known, the problem becomes simple because we know our original $720 refrigerator, and we also know the tax of 5%. So that means we can plug in 5% right away. We can multiply that by the $720, and that is going to equal our correct answer. So here, next up, remember that we can't just throw that 5% in. We have to move the decimal place over once, twice to the left to convert properly to a decimal. So we have a gap here, so we will make sure we plug in that 0. So this is going to be read as 0.05. If you wrote it as 0.05, that is still very correct, very proper. Either way is fine. So we have 0.05 multiplied by 720, and that gives us our answer. So I'll evaluate this here on the side, 720 multiplied by 0.05, and we're good. Here we go. 0 times 5, that's a 0. 2 times 5, that's a 10, carry the 1. And then we have 7 times 5, which is 35. Carry the 1, and that's 36. So it looks like 3,600, but remember, when we multiply by a decimal, we bring that back once, twice, and so that'll be 36. And there we go. The correct answer here is going to be D, 36. That is the amount of the tax on this refrigerator.